everybody. Take two. Turn your microphone on. That is my worst thing. Remembering to turn the daggone microphone on. Okay, it's on. I've already recorded an entire video, but I'm going to do it again for you guys. First thing I did was unwrap day 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas from Diamond Painting Drills. I got glow in the dark ABs, green and red. Can you believe it? I can't imagine what painting I'm going to use this for, but how cool. Oh, the white is glow in the dark as well. I just noticed that. White, red, and green glow in the dark ABs. I'm sure somewhere this year I will find, or 2024, we'll find a place for those. But if you want to shop for Diamond Painting Drills, the link is down in the description. And I am an affiliate. If you follow that link, I do, and make, if you end up with some stuff in your cart, because some of that stuff makes great, like these fit wonderfully into a stocking. Grab some of these for a friend of yours at Diamond Paints. You can put them in your stocking. How cool. Okay, today we've got a lot to talk about. Don Adelson, Charlie Adelson, and day 7 of the firefighter paramedics, Chuniak and Cooper, who are on trial for the death of Elijah McClain. All right, first we're going to talk about, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. I've got iced coffee today. I don't know why, I was just in the mood for iced coffee. And if you watch to the end, I got some footage of me on the electronic bike. Watch to the end. All right. So let's talk about Donna first. It's because this was yesterday. She came into court with her lawyer, number one, for an injunction against the jail for the way that they are treating her, and number 2, for her arraignment in front of the judge. Same judge that tried her son's case. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna try to explain this as best I can. She is the mother of Charlie and Wendy Adelson. Now, Charlie was convicted of conspiracy to commit the murder of Dan Markell, who used to be married to his sister Wendy. The conspiracy involved him and allegedly his mother. That's why she's here for an arraignment. He was dating a woman named Catherine McBanawa, who, after 2 trials, was convicted of the conspiracy to commit murder of Dan Markell. Donna and he hired Catherine to hire her baby daddy and his friend as the hitman. They travel up to Tallahassee from Miami. Dan Markell takes his 2 little boys, drops them off at preschool, goes to the gym. He's coming home. He pulls into the driveway. These 2 hitmen pull in behind him, shoot him in the head. They're serving their sentences. Catherine McBanawa has been convicted, serving her sentence. Charlie gets convicted 1 week later. Donna Adelson is picked up at the airport trying to flee the country. She has a one-way ticket to Vietnam because she knew the writing was on the wall that she was next to go down. We're still waiting for Wendy to go down. I think it'll happen. Yeah. So somewhere along the line, there was a jailhouse phone call that had been monitored. They're all monitored, but in which she said she would, if she couldn't get out of the country, she was going to kill herself. So while she's been incarcerated in the jail, she is on what they call direct observation. Someone has to keep eyes on her 24/7. Now, she claims that she's made to sit naked in the jail. So we get to this hearing yesterday, and at this hearing is her lawyer and the prosecution, which is Georgia Kappelman, same person that prosecuted her son, same judge, and Sarah Dugan, the whole same team. And then there was another set of lawyers representing the jail, and then the I think he works for the Leon County Sheriff. He's one of the higher uppers. He's in charge of the jail. Not very well spoken, not very nervous. Obviously, doesn't do this often where he has to come into a courtroom and defend what's going on in these jails. So he explains that, yes, she's under direct observation. She claims she's only been seen by a psychiatrist once, that she's been there. And she's been there since November. He says, no, she gets seen every day by a psychologist who reports back to the psychiatrist. And once they can all agree or that she's no longer a harm to herself, they will put her in general population. But that has not happened yet. So he explains that when they're in this direct observation cell, they don't have anything in there. They're not allowed to have anything. They get a mattress, and he said they get a smock. I don't know what that means, a smock. She says she's naked. He called it a smock. I don't know what a smock means. But anyway, so the judge is like, well, we've got this separation of powers issue. I can't tell the jail what to do. Now, if you're telling me that there was a violation of her civil rights, then maybe I can do something. And she's like, yep, my client's civil rights were violated. Now, at some point during this hearing, Don Adelson gets really vocal. And it's the part where they're talking about she's claiming that she's going to kill herself. She's like, no, no, no. What, she's denying it. Well, the judge has to tell her, you need to stop talking. Your attorney will do the talking. Okay. So she has to be quiet. But she had a lot to say to her lawyer, though. But the lawyer said, I don't have any access to her. She's being denied access to her lawyer. And I can't formulate a defense for this woman because we can't have a private conversation. She does have access to her, but there's always eyes and ears on them. So she says, I've contacted the Attorney General multiple times, who was not the Attorney General, the General Counsel for the jail. I've contacted their office many times. I don't get a call back. So the General Counsel gets up there and he's, I'm a little offended and I want to make it clear no one has ever contacted my office regarding Don Adelson. So now they're like button heads. So the judge says, well, before you leave today, you need to give her a business card. You need to get together with her and make sure she has access to her client. Now, the judge kept asking him, can she have access to multimedia? And you're like, no, laptops have cords that she could use, so she can't have a computer. Oh, well. Anyway, so they can meet in a room with a window where someone is watching them. That's all that can be done. So then so that was the first part of the hearing. Then the second part of the hearing was her arraignment, where she pled not guilty. They have not set the case for trial, but the judge said they would return in January for a pre-trial conference to see where they're at in formulating her defense and when they'll be ready for trial, and he'll assign a date then. All right, now let's fast forward to this morning. I wake up to the sentencing of Charles Adelson. So back when he was convicted in November, at the end of the trial, the Markel family, Dan Markel, the victim's mother and father, who live in Canada, had asked if they could return for the sentencing, that they didn't really want to return for the sentencing. Could they appear by Zoom? And he's like, sure. So they were on Zoom, but we didn't get to see the Zoom. We could hear them give their victim impact statements. I only heard him. I don't know if she gave one or not. She has given one previously in Catherine Magbanoa's trial. Anyway, so he gives his victim impact statement, and then the judge asks Charlie, do you have anything to say? So he says, yeah. He stands up and he goes, I maintain my innocence. Oh, of course. Okay, never mind. You're innocent. Forget the whole thing. I'm being facetious. So the prosecution asked the judge, because he was convicted of 3 different charges. First degree murder. There's no leeway on the sentence for that. It's life without the possibility of parole. They didn't go after the death penalty for him. Then there was the conspiracy to commit the murder and the solicitation to commit the murder. So Georgia Kappelman with the prosecutor's office, she asked, in addition to the life without the possibility of parole on the one charge, that the other two charges, he would be sentenced to 30 years consecutive for each charge. Now, of course, the defense attorney said, he would like it to be 30 years concurrent. So the judge asked him to stand up for sentencing. He sentences him on charge number 1, murder, life without the possibility of parole. Charge number 2, conspiracy, 30 years consecutive. And solicitation, 30 years consecutive. So once he dies, he has 60 more years to serve. So he remanded him to the custody of the state of Florida. He will now be transferred to the Department of Corrections prison, where he will spend the rest of his life. And I'm telling you, this man looked bad. He looked rough. He has not seen the good side of a razor in a very long time. Full beard, hair that looks like it hadn't been washed in 3 weeks. That oiliness of your hair. Ugh. He looked really bad. And I'm sure there's some people in prison that are waiting to meet him. Mm-hmm. Like Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia, maybe. I wonder if they'll go to the same place. Those are the 2 hitmen that he hired. Anyway, so the saga of the Adelsons continues with Donna's trial to come. So let's talk about the 2 firefighter paramedics that are on trial, day 7. So we know that the judge took Friday off because some of the jurors were not feeling well because of COVID. So they resumed the trial yesterday, with the first witness being the second EMT, or the second person, because there were 2 people in the ambulance, was what I'm trying to say. One was a paramedic, one was an EMT. They work for Falk, F-A-L-K. I guess that's how it's spelled, F-A-L-K, Falk Ambulance. They were dispatched to come to the scene at the same time as the firefighters, except they were coming from farther away, so it took them an additional 6 minutes to get to the scene. Now, this woman says, well, Mr. Walker, who we've already heard from, he was driving. I was not driving. But we were coming emergently from this other scene. She couldn't remember what it was they were doing at the other scene. She doesn't remember anything about that. This has been a while. That was back in 2019. So, but she said we were going emergency with lights. No siren, because we were going through neighborhoods, and at 10:30 at night, trying to, not disturb everybody. Hi, buddy. Hi. You want to lay down here? Hi, buddy. This is my sister's doggy. Okay, so she'd only been an EMT for less than a year, but she talks about how when she got on the scene, it was her job. They pull up to the scene. Now, they're not at the scene in the grass where the guy's struggling with the officers. They're parked somewhere away from the scene, because there's 6, 7, 8 police cars there, a firefighting rig, and they got to find a place to park the ambulance. So they Walker and parks the ambulance. He gets out and goes into the ambulance and gets the ketamine. She gets out and gets the gurney. So he draws up the ketamine, goes in. She saw him administer. She saw him go over the 5 rights, the right dose, the right med, the right, that thing, with the firefighter Cooper before it's administered. Then once he calms down, and he's put on the gurney, she assists with getting that gurney to the ambulance. Now, she said, I initiated CPR. Well, no. Or how did she say it? She initiated CPR. Well, I mean, they could see he was not breathing. So she started doing chest compressions, and she did 1 round of chest compressions, and then she switched out with someone else so she could get out and drive the ambulance to the hospital. She was asked if she had seen anything. Did she observe either one, either Cooper or Kachuniak, do anything she felt untoward towards this guy? Anything she thought was assaultative? I don't even know if that's a word. It's what they use. And she said, no, no, nothing that you would consider assault to this patient. No. But she said she was not looking at him whether he was breathing or not when he was on the gurney. Now, we heard her partner, Walker, testify that when he was beside that gurney on the way to the ambulance, he saw the guy breathing. She didn't look. All right, the next person on the stand was a co-worker of Elijah McClain. He worked at it's a chain of massage parlors, so to speak, called Massage Envy. I don't know if they have them outside of Florida. I'm very familiar with them because I lived in Florida for a long time. And you can go there and you can buy gift cards and give your friends and family massages for Christmas. Just saying. That's where he worked. But she was saying how he would wear his leather jacket and his face mask even while he was giving massages. Now that's creepy. She said he wore that when it was 85 degrees out. She told him they were very close. They would go hang out. If he didn't have a massage, he was hanging out at the front desk. She worked the front desk. He was hanging out there and they were joking around. And then they'd go to lunch together every day. And they'd go next door to the pet store and visit the kittens. And she knew from talking to him that he was a runner, that he would run from the bus stop to work and about 3 miles, she said. They're like, well, how do you know it was 3 miles? Well, I don't know. He told me it was 3 miles. But she also said he also liked to wear these toe shoes, which is what he was wearing that night, which are very weird looking. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It's like a glove where you put your fingers in the gloves. Um, you can put your toes in these shoes. She said he felt more grounded. She said the reason he told her he was wearing the leather jacket and the face mask is he was freezing all the time because he said he was anemic, because he said, I'm a vegan. Okay, there you have it. Case is over. No. Okay. They introduced a picture she took of him 2 weeks before his death where he's wearing this get up. I didn't get to see it. Of course, nobody watching the trial got to see it, just the jury. I think that was really about it for her. Yeah. They worked Thursday through Sunday, 10-hour shifts. Then on the stand, I've got the door open, watching the animals go in and out. On the next person on the stand, who's still on the stand today, is the firefighter paramedic trainer. The person, he actually worked for Falk, but he's the person that trained these guys on the use of ketamine. So he brings in his PowerPoint presentation, which the prosecution walked him through the PowerPoint, what he would teach these guys in their class. And of course, we don't get to see the PowerPoint. I can't see the PowerPoint. But he says the first thing you have to do when you get to the scene is you need to decide if what you're seeing is this excited delirium. And so the first thing you want to do is see if your patient is oriented. Are they responding appropriately? Are they making any sense? Um, do they know where they are? What time is it? That kind of thing. Then he showed a video. They showed a video to the jury that he shows to these during his class of a situation that he once upon a time came upon where they had to give ketamine to someone who was suffering from excited delirium. And I did, of course, we don't get to see it. But I could hear it, and what was going on sounded remarkably similar to what I've been hearing in the videos of Elijah McClain. Officers trying to tell him to calm down. They're taking him to the ground. They're trying to get him handcuffed. They're trying to get him positioned on his side, and he keeps everything the same. To include, after the administration of ketamine, this guy codes and dies. Yeah. So he says he teaches his students to give 5 milligrams per kilogram. That this is a dosage that you have to give based on their weight. The other thing he says is you need to get a history of the patient if you can. If you can. Now, in the situation, the video that he showed, there was a person on the scene that knew the victim or knew the person suffering from excited delirium and had said he was on a shitload of acid. There's nobody was there, there's no family members standing around Elijah McClain that could give anybody a history of this guy. So he did talk about, he teaches that it might be psychosis, it might be delirium, but the person can be in excited delirium when they're psychotic. It might not always be the result of a drug. So going back to the 5 milligrams per kilogram, he was saying that, if they look like me, if you can't get your weight and you're trying to guesstimate, I'm 220 pounds. You're going to give me 500 milligrams. And then he taught them that and this was on cross because, of course, the prosecution's never going to admit this, that he told them that in some jurisdictions, what they're doing is this small, medium, large, 300, 400, 500. But he never said you should do it, but he never said you shouldn't do it. Just saying. So he did say that different people respond differently to the administration of ketamine. But if you, and this is the part that's going to bury these guys, is that if you give too much, it will depress their respirations. So he said, if you're coming on a scene and you don't have any history and if you see certain things, you can assume that it's probably excited delirium. For example, they're not following commands. They're not interacting logically with anyone. They become fixated on objects, and sometimes they even attack objects. I think in the video, there was a guy attacking a fence. And then it requires a large amount of individuals to restrain them. Also, you can touch their skin, and they may be experiencing, it feels like, how you check for somebody who has a fever and they feel really warm? Excited delirium, that's what they'll feel. And then here's the key. He said, you need to monitor them post-administration as soon as it's reasonable. So in the video, they administered the ketamine, waited for them to calm down, then they put them in the ambulance and get them on all the equipment and get the vital signs and the CO2 rate and the oxygen rate. Exactly the same as what occurred with Elijah McClain. I don't think this guy helped the prosecution at all. So to me, that was the most important thing he said. That you can do the monitoring as soon as it's reasonable. So I will finish listening to his cross-examination, which is still going on. It went through almost, the remainder of the day yesterday. So I've gotten through most of that, and then I'll finish listening to it this morning. And I will update you tomorrow, guys. So that's it. We had ALS and stuff. We had day 7 of this trial. And here's a look at me riding my bike. Now, I show you the bike. I get on the bike and we go together to the post office. I will tell you that that's where it ends. After I get to the post office, there was nowhere to lock the bike. But I could see it the whole time I was there, and there was no line at the post office. So I just ran in, sent the packages off to get mailed, came back out. And honestly, I got to wait till I get a phone holder on that thing, because you have to have 2 hands on those handlebars at all times. So I didn't feel safe doing any more filming. But here it is. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hi, everybody. It's Rebecca. I'm going to take the tricycle, up to the post office, and I'm going to bring y'all along. And no, this is not a bike helmet, but it's freezing outside, so I'm opting for comfort over safety, I get it. But I'm gonna turn the camera around so you guys can see the tricycle. All right, so here it is. I'm going to the post office. I've got packages that I got to mail. I know that's not Christmas wrap, but man, it's what I've got. And I'm taking my lock with me, of course. It's quite an extensive little thing here. It's got this cable, and then it's got this huge piece here. And then I have another lock down below here. There's another package that's going out. So we're going to go for a little ride. This is the tricycle. Now this is the upgraded comfort seat for, you know, us old ladies who like a little cush for the tush. This is the on and off here for the odometer. There's the, tells you if it needs to be charged. I'm going to charge it when I get back. This is the pedal assist. It goes from 1 through 5, so you start out at 1. And the throttle, this is the throttle here. And front brake, back brake. But look at this. All right, so we're gonna go for a little ride. I gotta find my keys here. Where are my keys? Hold on. We're gonna go to the post office. It's not that far. I usually walk. So we're gonna take, look, a diamond painting thing. I got this at the retreat, this little heart. And a little drill tray, super cute. Okay, so we're going to put that in. Look, it's on. You don't hear a thing, but it's on, trust me. All right, we're getting on, and we're gonna head up there. Ready? Here we go. Now all I have to do is start pedaling, and it comes on. It is on. So we're going to, I have a very uneven driveway. Yep. So we'll just take a little ride. Okay, we're not going very fast because I'm filming at the same time. I know, and no helmet. It's super easy. I'm gonna turn the camera around. There we go. How cool is that? We can speed up a little, pull up on the throttle, pull back on the throttle. There's our odometer. I know I'm not going very fast. I can go faster, but I would rather have 2 hands on the handlebars when I go faster. I'll show you, I do have to go faster. This is gonna drive me crazy. Here we go. We're gonna go a little faster. There we go. Yeah, about 7 miles per hour right now. 6 miles per hour, yeah. Not very fast. And I know I'm breathing heavy. This is rough on my knees, but good exercise nonetheless. Going around the corner, have to watch out for those potholes. There we go. I think 3 on the pedal assist is where I like to have it. See, now we're going 8 miles an hour. Okay. I'm gonna take this corner here. This is street legal. Not interstate legal, but street legal. Got my finger on the brake here, just in case. Ooh, 8 miles an hour. Wow. Beats walking, right? Yesterday, I took this up to the grocery store. Now, what I don't know is if there is a bike rack at the post office. We're gonna find out. Oh, little squirrel over there. Cute. They're not in my yard because the cats chase them away. Now I do want to make sure there's no traffic coming the other way before I head through here. Here we go. Literally the post office is at the end of this street. Not a far drive at all. Welcome to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. See, I think my neighborhood's kind of cute. Old houses built in the 1950s. Okay, no traffic. Cars have to stop, but I didn't. Guys, man, this is the way to go. I like this a lot. Before I was walking this whole way, which is not terrible, but when you're walking with a bunch of groceries and stuff, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Because the groceries are heavy. And today I would be walking with all those packages. Look, 9 miles an hour. Woohoo! I think 14 is the fastest you can go on this thing. I have not had it up to 14 miles an hour. Not that brave yet. I know it sounds very slow, right? It's not. You can see how quickly we're going here. There's the post office right there. That's where we're headed. And I'm not seeing a place to park this bicycle. We shall see. Go up here and try to figure it out. Now I'm gonna get off the throttle. Turning is kind of difficult with this thing. I'm gonna go up this sidewalk here.